Welcome to The Antidote, the podcast where we talk about what actually cures us and brings us forward, moving the needle on what's most important in life, and that is to thrive, to live it fully, to share love, and grow together. We're working on this new lick. What do you think? There will be occasional music stops throughout the course of this episode, as most episodes will have. Today I'm riding solo, and I'm going to start by asking and answering a few questions, and then we're going to dive into today's topic. Today's topic is one that, if you are a nerd like me, will be super cool when you hear about it, and if you're not a nerd like me, will also be super cool when you hear about it, because it is what affects us every single moment of our existence. It is constantly refining and defining who we are and how we get to show up to this brief and timeless journey called life. That topic is epigenetics. If you're unfamiliar with epigenetics, it is a branch of biology because it's essentially talking about our genetics and how our environment, and by environment I mean what surrounds us and affects what we hear, what we see, what we taste, what we touch, what we surround ourselves with. It is a choice, so therefore our genetics become a choice, contrary to former beliefs that you may or may not have had. So we're going to jam on that today, but first we're going to go through a couple of questions that will start with the key of E. What evolutionary move toward health did I make this week? Question one. This week, I had some amazing coaching sessions this week. With some awesome old clients, new clients, and one of the challenges that I'd been called to give this week with specifically my Live in Legends group is we're building routines right now. So what I asked for a 21-day commitment, something that feels challenging but doable. Like you're nearing the edge, but you're going to edge into it, and you're gonna see what's on the other side. So you're gonna commit to it. And I like to practice what I preach. So I went ahead and made a 21-day commitment to reconnect to my prayer practice. And I specifically wanted to put that in my evening routine. I've fallen away a little bit from my kind of like normal evening routine when I'm out here off the grid in the jungles. The big island where I live, and I'm kind of in this, like, I can easily just fall into kind of like a tranquil bliss. I generally play the ukulele until I get tired enough to start reading, and then I fall asleep pretty seamlessly with the rain that's been raining quite a bit lately. And I wanted to bring a little bit more intention into the way that I'm going from the conscious world to the unconscious world, and I have not had a prayer practice in quite a long time. So, I meditate in the mornings. Generally, that's like where I hit it in my morning routine. But I wanted to add prayer, and that could easily slide into meditation in the evening. And that is just a way of saying thank you. Just to end my day with as many thank yous as I possibly can. And then to kind of just put myself in the essence or the aura of gratitude. And I'll do this kind of from like a yoga nidra position, just like shavasana, essentially lying on my back, and then just kind of body scanning after that into what ends up being a pretty delightful sleep. So I committed to 21 days of that. It's in my calendar as a constant kind of reminder. If it's not in my calendar, I'm probably not going to do it. So it's in there, and it's been epic. I love it. It's been super awesome way to just reconnect to my soul and what's most important, to look up, say thanks. So that's super cool. Anything epic happened to me this week? This is question 2. Anything epic happened to me this week? Always, bro. Do you know me? It's always epic shit happening. But specifically, I had a couple of my longest and best friends come to visit me last week. David and Ryan, you know who you are. And it's so cool when I get to just like have people from multiple, like from different chapters of my life, and I get to be kind of the broker to bring them all together, whether that's with people or places that I get to call home or visit. And so that was super epic to just have them here. But there was specifically like leaving, we were over on the Kona side for a couple of nights, but at the end of their trip, and there was this time that they left in the morning. I went down to Banyans for a surf. It was like a Surfline had it declared as a good day. It also said it was like 5 to 6 feet, which I would love to say it wasn't a lie, but it was kind of a lie. Nevertheless, it was a great day and had a great surf. And then had to go back up the mountain. Holuloa is kind of like up in the Kona Hills. And I was driving away from the house that we rented back towards the Saddle Road, which if you're unfamiliar with the Big Island, there's like 9 of the 13 microclimates on this one island. And I was going from like kind of like mountainous jungle, like I was up about 1,000 feet, and then in still just so much greenery, and then passing through into like country farmland, and then on up into the Saddle where it gets all arid, and then it becomes super rainy, and I'm just like having this blissed out experience of like, my God, this is Earth, this is my planet, this is where I get to call home. Wow. And I allowed myself to just fully kind of just release into the moment and just be totally present with the drive. I love drives, especially when they're that gorgeous. So that like kind of like living in the moment of my friends and then saying goodbye to them, epic surf, moving on through back onto my side of the island. And as soon as I got like to the Mauna, got a text from my good friend, Coach Israel. It was his birthday. They were having a barbecue. So I kind of just went straight from Kona down the hill into barbecue with some of my good friends on that side. And it was just it was epic. It was epic because it was an epic, ordinary, awesome day, which so often is the case in my life. And I think it's really just comes down to intention, like the capacity and the commitment to see it, to witness the miracle as it unfolds. So that was epic. That was epic. Okay, next question. Something I greatly appreciated recently. Something I greatly appreciated recently. I'm gonna go with the rain and my new playlists. It kind of feels like winter all of a sudden here in the Gila side. It lasts like 3 days. It's been pretty off and on pouring, which is great for my rain catchment system and my new running water, which is amazing. And it kind of just invites my soul to just be present. Like when it's not raining, I could go to the beach, I could go work out, I could do all of these things, and it almost feels like, am I shooting on myself because it's sunny out? Whereas when it's shooting is, if you should do something, and if it's raining as it has been, it's kind of just like I can just like banana pancakes it up, like, can't you see that it's just raining? Ain't no need to go outside. And I've been, so involved with a lot of new work stuff lately, so it's been really nice to just hear and commit to the call to just stay in and enjoy the rain. Along with that came about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours of, I used to make a playlist like every week. I make a lot of playlists. I think this is number like 450 something. But it's been a little while for me. It's been a little while since I've made my own playlist. So I made 2 playlists because I've been saving a bunch of songs lately. I made a kind of like a folk rainy day kind of a playlist, like morning and evening kind of a, for me, playlist that has, let me show you actually what it has. I called it This Tender Land because it's also the name of the new novel I'm reading. I'm really into Reese Witherspoon's book club books. I think this is like, I don't know if this was on it, but it was recommended to me because of the other ones, and I love it so far. I'm just devouring it. But nevertheless, the book is called This Tender Land, and it kind of gave me this kind of vibe of, let's see, I got a lot of like Xavier Rudd in here, Half Moon Run, Big Red Machine. That's Bon Iver's one of his side projects. Oliver Hazard, which if you haven't gotten into them, oh my God, they're my life. Let's just, I can't play it, huh? Some Kaleo, Bahamas, Camp, Matt Corby, Leon, Hosier, Head in the Heart, Iron and Wine. That's kind of the vibe. And then I made another one called Citrus City that is more like pop, like just shameless pop. Marky Bassey, his new album is fire. So I'm jamming on that, and the new Sticky Fingers, Bay Ledges, the new Surfaces album. If you're not into any of this stuff, check out these playlists. I'll send you, I can put them in the show notes or something, and you jump on them. But, you know, that kind of, that's a great segue into our topic today, because if you know me, you know I like my playlists. I like to surround myself with intention, and that's what I view a playlist as. It's curating what is coming in, and that's going to be the title of this podcast. Truly is not epigenetics. That might, that's cool. That's scientifically what it's about, but more so it's what we allow in, aka what we are becoming. Because quite literally, Bruce Lipton wrote this amazing book, I highly recommend it, called The Biology of Belief. And the guy is a cellular biologist who had this theory in which, we've run under the dialogue that it is the genetic code within the nucleus that determines who you are. That's kind of, you can't affect it, that's what it is. But come to find out that the expression of your genetics are indeed affected by your environment. Now, what allows the environment in is your cell membrane. If you were totally lost right now because you're like, I freaking hated biology, every minute of it, I'm sorry, but this is like a crash course on epigenetics. You can get hopefully a good gist of the idea here. So if your cell membrane, consider that like the wall around your cell, if that is kind of like your point of contact with your surrounding world, then what he found was the expression of your genetic code is directly affected by what we are surrounded by, what we are in contact with, what our cell membrane is saying, yes, come on in, or no, you're not allowed. Now, what affects that code are our thoughts, our actions, our way of being. This is why it's so difficult to make a change. And if you're just listening right now, it just got real rainy. I think my microphone's pretty good, so hopefully it's blocking that out. But anyways, beautiful, beautiful rain. But essentially, what we continue to think, what we continue to show ourselves is us, will continue to be the code in which we allow the world in. This is why it's so difficult to make a change. Take my playlist for an example. Let's talk about, for instance, a song by like Nako and Medicine for the People, or Trevor Hall, let's say, Trevor Hall. Super uplifting, heartfelt, like cellular music. The man speaks love. That does not vibe with certain people. They haven't made it to that frequency, and that's fine. Like, it's not necessarily a hierarchy. They're just not on the same frequency, and that's cool. That's okay. But what if, let's say, they recognize, I want to be on that frequency, that love frequency. How do I get there? Generally, what happens, and I see this all the time in my business, they're like, I call it these come to Jesus moments. Oh my God, I'm angry, or I'm unhealthy. I gotta make a change. And so what happens is we start by doing a 180. We go, this direction is not working for me anymore. I'm gonna go the other direction. But if you know anything about making a change, it's like, if we shift 180 degrees, how long is that really gonna last before we start sabotaging ourselves, or it's not gonna work? I would much rather see like 1% change every day for 100 days or 180 days to make a shift. And the reason why is coming back to that cell membrane code of what we're allowing in. It is that way because we've allowed it to be that way. We've told our cells, this is what I want to allow in. This is what I want to affect my genetics with. How I want to affect my genetics with. If you listen to angry, like, savage music all the time, nothing against it, but it's created an angry, savage cell membrane in which other Trevor Hall kind of music probably is not going to be accepted. Think of like Morse code, dot dot one one dot one one dot versus one one dot dot one one one. I mean, they're just different. It's not going to fit. So subtle tweaks, very very small shifts into. I'm going to try one song of Trevor Hall, using him as an example still, and then the next day maybe a different song, and maybe by a week or two I actually kind of like this. I remember some of the lyrics to this, and it actually makes me feel really good. And then the next week, maybe it's the whole album, or whatever, you know. But what we're allowing in. So my playlists, to me, I know that they're going to give me kind of said mood that I'm going for. Said mood. It's going to be a mirror for that. It helps my thinking and feeling loop to stay in balance, in check. I want to feel this certain way. I want to hear these certain vibes. And then I want to feel this certain way. That is who I am becoming moment to moment with what I allow in. I'll step away from the playlists and the music for just a moment. What are we allowing into our vision? What are we seeing regularly? Is it the news? Is it the talking heads that tell us how to think? And you know, I'm not one to express a ton of my own opinion often, but shit, there's a lot of fear on the news. I could say that because I don't even think it's an opinion, it's more of a fact. Why then do we choose to watch it? Why do we choose to let that in? The Course in Miracles talks about love. Love is the only thing that is real. Everything else is an illusion. And yet, our human condition, our ego self, our inflated, fear-based selves that have told and we have believed that we are separate from one another. We're driven by that. It's maniacal. It's what else? Who else is dying of COVID? What other strains are out there? I don't even know what they're saying anymore. I haven't had a TV in years. No desire. I finally got internet up to my house for work, and my friend's like, "Oh, did you watch this show yet?" Then finally, I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm to the point now of like they kind of know that I'm just not gonna watch it. It's nothing against them, you know, but I'm like, I don't even want to see what's on. I grew up playing sports, but I can't tell you the last football game I sat through. And it's not because I don't enjoy football. It's great. There's just a lot of political undertones these days that my psyche doesn't care to surround itself with. I would much rather play some music. Or go for a hike or a bike or a surf or hang out with friends, do anything. Anyways, you don't have to be as crazy as I am about it, but I am quite particular about what I'm allowing in. On that music note, still, there's the music note. If you hadn't heard, like, there's. So if you guys heard of, there are like brainwashing frequencies out there. I don't even want to go down this road. I'm not going to go down this road. Cancel that. So if you look up, back in Nazi Germany times, they conditioned our sound, like the tuning frequency. It was supposed to be at like a 432, and if you're familiar with whole tone sounds at all, it is still like 432 is a healing frequency. That is our should be our standard, but some theories talk about 440 having become our tuning frequency because it was believed to make people think and feel in specific ways, making them a prisoner of certain consciousness. Now, is it backed by science? No. But is there history behind it? Yes. So can we become more intentional about what we are letting into our ears? Yes. Can we become more intentional about what we're letting into our skin? What are we feeling into? I mean that literally first. I mean, are we allowing toxic lotions and deodorants? I mean, this candle smells really good, but it's, cardamom and vetiver. Cool if it was just pure essential oils, but I doubt it is. It's up to you, and it's like which boundaries do you want to draw the line at? But the point is, can we become so intentional about who we are and allow that to reverse engineer what we allow in, because that is who we are becoming. So simply, let's break it down. Ears. What are we allowing into our ears? Can we prioritize sounds, frequencies, conversations that are love-inspired, that are forward-thinking, that uplift the frequency of each other, of this planet, of ourselves? What do we feel? Can we touch each other with compassion, with support? Can we receive another's touch? When was the last time you got body work or massage, any kind of massage work? Get your scalp played with. But how are we showing up to receive and to give touch? What are we putting on our skin? What are we putting in our hair? What are we not putting in our skin or hair? What kind of shoes are we wearing? Have we gotten so disconnected that we're not even grounding anymore? Gosh. Get barefoot. Get your hands in the dirt. It's not just a thought. There's like the negative charged ions of the earth will counteract and neutralize our over positive ions. Our body, our energy is electric. If we don't ground it, we go crazy. You see this, people in cities that never get out and they're just running frantic like are on a hamster wheel all the time. Go get your feet in the earth, man. Go get your hands in the dirt. Plant something. Holy shit. What are we watching? What do we see? Can we put ourselves in a position to constantly be taking in the beauty of the world? And then can we choose to recognize it as such? Can we train our mind to see the beauty? This is not some hippy dippy shit. No, you don't have to move off the grid in Hawaii. I did because I wanted to see pretty shit all the time. I love the color green. I'm in the jungle now. And I get to surround myself by people who also see this way. I get to walk down and visit my family, my Tyler and Bethany. They invited me to live on their land because we want to share the same frequency. Who are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of conversations are you having? How is that becoming you? What are you smelling? I mean, think of everything that you're letting in through your epigenetic possibilities. What are your five senses doing? What are you tasting? Was that pasture raised? Is it organic? Was it made with love? I'm not a vegetarian, but I do a damn good job of becoming conscious, at least, of where my meat came from. My family chooses a cow every year on a good friend's ranch up in the hills outside near where we have a cabin. A beautiful ranch land. That cow led an amazing life. If that is now becoming me, that's a cool exchange. I think even the cow might be all right with becoming Rocky. I hope so, because it tasted really good. Anyways, yeah, I hope you're getting the concept. Truly, what are we allowing in and how is it affecting and becoming us? With Bruce Lipton's book, I was talking about the biology of belief. I remember getting to the end, and that is really when he kind of starts driving home his own theory behind this. Because I looked for the book initially, this was years ago now, but I remember looking for the book in science section. I'm like, well, cellular biologist, well, let's find it in here. I had to ask the person, Barnes & Noble, where is this book? They took me to the New Age section. Interesting, I thought. Because it wasn't until the epilogue, I won't spoil it for you, but I dropped the book and said, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Yes! If we are just vessels that allow in the mirror of us, if the broadcast of God, universe, spirit, Gus, as a dear friend of mine, Sarah, I love you, puts it, I'm sure she got it from somewhere else too, but God, universe, spirit, it's there, it's everything, it's all around us. What we allow in, what our cell membrane allows in, becomes us. That is the code. That is you. That is me. We can affect it. We can decide. I want this frequency. I want to be a little bit more at peace. How can I dial in that frequency? How can you do it? You do have the choice. You are not stuck. You are not stuck. You are not a victim of your genetic expression. You can affect it. Not everything, unless if you're like 5 feet tall and you want to be a giant, it's probably not going to happen. But there are a lot of things that we can do. So what are you doing about it? All right, homies. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Taking a dive into a subject that I love so much. I'm going to leave you with the key of C, because why not? Have an amazing rest of your day. Give someone a hug when you see them. And continue uplifting the frequency with love, because that is the antidote. Aloha. Daddy, well, he don't know, but there's an open door is all that I know. So roll on. See you next time. Hoo-hoo!